Okay, we have a small group today, but thank you for those who were able to join. This is the InstructLab Community CLI meeting. It's been a couple of weeks since our last one, so we'll be talking a little bit about why that's the case, and as well as the 0.18 milestone and what has been going on. I've added a few items to the agenda here. If anyone else wants to add anything, please feel free. Right now, it's pretty small. It's just the stuff I've been added here. Actually, if Charlie or Alina, if one of you wouldn't mind taking maybe just a couple of notes on the agenda while I'm talking, just some highlights for folks that might be looking at them async, don't have time to watch the recording. That would be great. Doesn't have to be anything too crazy.
Sure.
Thank you. So where's everyone been? So a lot of the current CLI maintainers for the InstructLab CLI are Red Hat employees, and we have been working very diligently on sort of the productization side of things, and due to sort of the nature of the timelines, we unfortunately haven't had to be able to have as much representation in the meetings as we have previously. We're hoping to kind of start getting back to this. So apologies to folks in the community, and thanks to those who have been able to continue joining and keeping up that side of things. Kind of leading from that into the 0.18 milestone. Originally, the date for this milestone was supposed to be today, but I've gone ahead and pushed that back to July 1st. It might possibly get pushed again. The reason for this is because there's some very large changes that are going to be coming into 0.18, and we want to make sure that we have time to finish those changes and hopefully make things relatively stable for this release. One big change, and as a reminder, a lot of these changes are posted in the change log. Big thanks to Sebastian Hahn, who isn't here, but was the motivator of having this change log. But one of the big changes that's coming is we will be dropping support for Python 3.9, and we are temporarily dropping support for Python 3.12. The reasoning for this is due to something else that's been going on, which is the librarification of a few of the major components. So previously, commands like ilab generate, which is now ilab data generate, as well as ilab train, which is now ilab model train. All the code that was actually executing these commands lived in the CLI proper. However, one of the sort of big things that a lot of the maintainer team has been working on is actually making these into individual Python libraries. They'll be consumed by the InstructLab CLI. There's a lot of reasons for this. The biggest one is just the more robust utilization of resources. So, people have hit a lot of issues in terms of trying to generate a lot of synthetic data as well as train their models with that data on sort of small scale laptops, which doesn't really have necessarily the resources that you need to do that. You can do it in somewhat of a limited capacity depending on your hardware. But we wanted to also have the ability for users that have access to more powerful hardware, GPU enabled, bare metal machines, that's the word I'm looking for, as well as cloud instances. We wanted to kind of be able to make that something that users could take advantage of. So maintainer team's been sort of split up into groups and has been doing a lot of work to kind of get that integration working. As part of that work, especially with the training side of things, we found that some of the libraries that we are dependent on for the training, major one being GPT Dolomite, do not have support for these versions of Python. So since 3.9 is already an older Python version, we're planning on just dropping that indefinitely and requiring 3.10. 3.12 is a bit trickier since 3.12 is the most recent version of Python, and we do want ultimately to support it. So although we will be dropping support for 0.18, we do intend on trying to bring this back prior to our 1.0, so that we will ultimately be supporting Python 3.10 and above. This is, of course, all relatively new. It's subject to change, but for now, that is the plan. I'm happy to field any questions or concerns about that. And I think that's kind of all of the big news that I have. I don't know if anyone else wants to chime in with anything or has any questions around that, but if so, I'm happy to answer about anything I just talked about there. All right. Does anyone have any other topics that they want to discuss for the CLI? Any other news they might want to share? We have a lot of time, so we can always end early, but I really wanted to have this meeting to kind of give folks the opportunity to comment. Charlie.
Well, first, Nathan, you might want to mute yourself because we're going to have the echo because you're right in front of me. Thanks. I did want to point out with the libraryification of everything that sure, we're making these libraries to, utilize resources, but something that I am kind of like fighting for in making these libraries is the maintenance of the laptop workflow, and specifically CPU enabled workflows and trying to enhance those at the same time. So we're hoping that not only if you have a GPU, things will get faster and better, but if you have a CPU and, run-of-the-mill laptop, the performance should also probably get a pretty big bump when these library implementations are merged. So I just wanted to point that out, to say that we're not forgetting about the laptop use case, and we're hoping to make it more streamlined.
It's a very important point. Thank you, Charlie. Any other comments or questions from anyone else? All right, well, if that's the case, we might just go ahead and end early today. I know it's only been 5-10 minutes, but yeah, we're hoping again that in the coming releases, things will stabilize a little bit. We'll be able to sort of get back to the greater community engagement. We'll probably be also trying to send more of the maintainers to the larger community meeting on Tuesday to socialize this meeting a bit more. There's a chance we may start doing meetings for the libraries that we're introducing. I can't speak to that yet. There's still discussions around that need to happen. But the CLI meetings themselves are planned on being continued. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got. If there's nothing else, I'll go ahead and stop the recording, and it will of course be shared out as normal. I'll be working with Carol Chen on that. And otherwise, yeah, thank you everyone for attending today. I know we had a small crowd and not a whole lot to talk about, but yeah, glad we were able to get some folks on here and share this news and socialize this out. And looking forward to seeing what else is coming.